All right, before we get into anything tactical, I want to name the real reason that most of you guys are struggling to thrive online. It's not because you aren't gifted. It's not because you need to increase your reach or gain more visibility. It's not even because the algorithm is messed up and out to get you. It's because simply you are currently running a business on guessing. And guessing is expensive. Guessing costs you time, confidence, consistency, and cash. So today is not going to be like a let's get motivated class. This is really a grounding class to gain the stability that you need. And this is a how to build a business that genuinely holds you with the structure to carry you through the year and to thrive, even when life is lifing, because it's going to do that, right? So here's what you'll be leaving with. First of all, we're going to talk about a simple 2026 business model that works for healers. I've been doing this work now since 2017. I've supported hundreds of spiritual entrepreneurs, coaches, witches, and I know not only what has consistently worked, but also what has shifted in the online business world. The second thing is going to be a quick scorecard you can use to find out where your actual block is in your business right now so you can remove it and move forward. And then the third thing I'll share with you is a 14-day plan to create momentum without burning out. As we head into the new year, a lot of us are getting juiced up and excited, a fresh start, shifting and pivoting and all the things. And so it's really important that you create and develop a plan that is going to sustain you, because this is a sprint or a marathon, not a sprint. And I want to be sure that you're set up for success. So whether you're watching this in the boardroom and you have all the resources at your disposal to go through this because they'll be there, or you're catching a replay elsewhere, welcome. You are in the right room. Now, 2026 is going to reward people who are structured. This is the reality. It is not going to reward the people who are the most loud, the most controversial, have the spiciest hot takes. It is genuinely going to be a space where people can thrive because they have the right systems and structure in place for their creativity to thrive off of, right? I view it as somewhat of like building a house. When you have the right structure and foundation in place, you can put whatever paint and have all kinds of creative direction with the architecture and the design and all the other fun things when you have a strong foundation in place. And that's going to be your structure, because attention is genuinely getting more expensive. That is the currency of today's market. And people are more selective than ever, right? Good content isn't enough if it doesn't genuinely create conversations and ignite people to take action. So I'm not here to teach you on what's trending. I'm here to teach you on what's durable, on what lasts, and what works, right? Durable wins in 2026 are going to look like clarity over constant reinvention. You need to give your people time to understand who you are and how you can serve them and how you can help them solve specific problems. And the best way to do that is going to be through clarity and repetition. So fewer priorities, executed consistently if you want to become a premium practitioner, and then having a system that really turns your visibility into real relationships. I say this almost every time I press record, and I say, healing work is intimacy work, right? And so in order to build a business that is strong, that lasts, that people are raving, right? Sending their friends, their families, their coworkers, is because it's built on relationships. And also doing sales in a way where the invitations feel aligned, they feel clean, there's no chasing, there's no clinging, there's no convincing. It just feels natural and it feels good. So let me take you a little bit behind the scenes for a second, because this is how premium practitioners think. The students that I work with that thrive and absolutely crush it in their business, they scale to six figures in less than a year, right? They leave their 9 to 5s and go full time in their business. This is what they do. And this year, what's worked for the last 12 to 18 months is not more. It's genuinely creating better decisions and making better decisions. So, what I see working for my students right now is when they can create a specific diagnosis where people self-select themselves, right? It's not just like generic inspiration, but it's very much people are able to self-select from your content and say, oh, fuck, they're talking about me. This is about me. Is this content about me? And I know all of you have experienced that. Many of you are in my orbit because you felt that from my content, right? And so the students that win are those who can really dial in and speak directly to the people that they serve, right? Because those people are going to feel like, oh, I've been read. Now, short content performs best when it is really cut from a anchor. When I say an anchor, I mean it is grounded, it is rooted to something very specific that connects to your offerings. Okay. So that means that it is teaching, it is live training, it is long form, and it all connects back to your offers. It's not just floating in the wind, and sharing from this place of just raw inspiration. We need that and we want that, absolutely. But what I'm talking about is having a full structure and a strong foundation for you to grow and thrive from. And so that means long form content, podcasts, YouTube, what's the one where, not Reddit, Substack. A bunch of my students are doing writing on Substack and calling in their people there and crushing it. I'm not on there yet, maybe soon. But live trainings, things where people can get into the room and feel your presence and the embodied wisdom that you have to share. The businesses that are growing aren't the ones that are posting nonstop and randomly, right? You are going to meet people who are going to say, you need to post 3 to 5 reels a day. I am never going to be that girl. It is not accessible to me. It doesn't work for me. And it's not what I teach because I know you don't need to do that. But the folks who are winning and the students who are seeing the most success are those who are posting their content and showing up consistently, yes, but they're more so focused on having meaningful conversations with their people consistently. And when you can do both of those things, you are going to crush it. And then the people who then sell consistently aren't like manifesting harder, but it's because they're using an aligned invitation process. And the one that I teach allows you to really tap into your heart space and that love frequency and say, how can I serve you and how can I support you? How can I show up for you and be, really be in my leadership in this role as a healer and a spiritual entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneurs are folks who create solutions. What's not working right now is randomly posting with no path forward, right? Like not directing your people through a very clear path for them to follow you. Waiting to somehow be discovered, that's not going to work. Throwing spaghetti at the wall or treating your DMs like it's kind of a last resort instead of a genuine relationship channel. Another thing I see folks do that doesn't work is only selling when you're in the mood. Sorry. If you want to treat your business and go full-time in your business, you need to treat it full-time, right? As if you had a brick and mortar. You wouldn't get in there and just stand behind the register hoping people would hand their credit cards to you. No. You would build relationships with the people that come in, treat them with respect, warmth, kindness. And that leads us to the model that I've been teaching for years and years and years. My CCC framework, it's 3 parts. And if you want to thrive in 2026, you need to learn how to plug into this model and this framework because all the pieces work together. And it really, honestly, it simplifies things because you only have three priorities. You don't have to focus on one specific platform or, creating more offers or hustling hard. There are just three things. So the first part is going to be your content system. Your job is to create assets that you can reuse. So you plan one time, right? And publish multiple pieces of content. The content system that I teach allows you to create one piece of long form content a month. You hit record, and then you have at least 4 to 6 weeks of content from that one piece of content. That one anchor piece becomes multiple short pieces that you can disperse all over the place. And it's important that you do this so that you understand how your people ingest content, right? You might be only posting on Instagram and only posting reels, but you might find that threads is where your people thrive and where your voice is heard by the masses. So you need to diversify. We talk about diversifying our portfolios and things like that when it comes to building wealth. It's the same thing in the content space, and no one else teaches this. Everyone teaches posting reels, and maybe a little bit of stories. But the method I teach is you create one time, you use automation, and you systematize so that you're seen across the board. And after 12 weeks of that, you know exactly where your people are and the content that works for your business. And then you can reflect and improve instead of restarting the whole identity every month and being like, fuck it, this isn't working. Of course it's not working. You've only tried one thing, one channel, one platform, one format, right? If your content, disappears when your energy dips, you don't have a business engine yet, right? To keep the machine running. Now, the second piece of this is connection and having a conversation system and having a system for connecting with your people. Your job is to really spark and sustain genuine connection on purpose with your people. Stop just waiting to be approached and reacting to incoming people. Sure, are people going to come in that way? 100%. But I guarantee you, you can triple your sales in the next week by simply being proactive and engaging with your people, using generosity strategically, whether it be a helpful resource, an invitation, a warm opener, something to connect with your folks, and proactive relationship building that is going to beat just reactive posting every time, right? Like I'm just relying on my audience and my community to buy from me without actually doing any selling and having conversations with folks and saying, how can I serve you? How can I support you? If you're visible, but you're not in conversation yet with your community, right now you just have a big billboard, baby. You just got a big old billboard. You don't have a business yet. And this is so critical. So many times I have students come in, I can't tell you, hundreds have come in and said, oh my gosh, Jessa, there is so much money in my DMs. The dinero is in the DMs, y'all. And it's not from hard sales, pushing, cold pitching, trying to convince people. It's by building genuine connections and saying, thank you for being here. I see you. I got you. How can I help? All right. Now, the third piece of my framework is going to be the close phase. And this is where you focus on genuine invitations, right? Your job is to turn aligned conversations with people who feel like there is that vibration between you and there's that hum and you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to work with you and love to support you. And you let them know, right? So you need to know who to invite, when to invite them, and how to invite them. And you're qualifying your folks through conversations. So you're not having to convince, right? You're asking really important questions to understand where they're at. Just like if folks walked into your sanctuary, right? If you had an actual physical sanctuary and they traveled to you, they've done the same thing just via the internet, right? And if they came into your space, you would say, thank you, love, for being here. What brings you in? right? What have you tried? What's working? What's not working? So that you don't have to do any convincing. You can say, you know what? I hear everything that you've said. I understand where you are, and I've got just the thing for you. Are you open to that? You follow up with integrity, and we're pretty soon we're going to be talking about the fuckboy follow up and how those two correlate. I had a student recently tell me that one of her students, after I was like, you're all kind of on some fuckboy vibes, not doing any follow up. One of her clients came to her and said, it was kind of like a fuckboy situation. You were all up in my shit. And then I never heard from you. And you guys, when I talk about healing work being intimacy work and sales being consensual and relational, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Having the integrity to give a fuck about your people enough to get in there, to ask questions, to make connections from a genuine place of I am here to serve and I am here to support you. Because you'll make your revenue stronger with simple multipliers, right? Being able to understand where your people are and say, hey, I know that you jumped into my membership, but I'm actually doing intensive this month. And based off what you've been sharing in the membership, I know like you could totally speed this process up if you and I sit down and meet one-on-one. So add-ons, upgrades, renewals, all of those things are easier and so much more intentional when you can have those connections with your people and understand where they actually are in their journey, right? Because if you only sell when you're desperate or you need something, of course, selling feels weird, right? And the connection phase and this close phase, that's what's missing. That is what's missing. Now, the key is this, because most people don't need to fix all three at once. They just need to find the leak and the block, remove it, and then things start to flow and open up. And then you can find kind of your next best step from there. So I'm going to give you a quick scorecard that you can use. Be honest, because this is how you figure out your next best step and get real results. So if you post consistently, but the response rate is really, really low, then it's a message leak, right? Because you're probably describing you, your work, your title, your modality, instead of diagnosing them, right? So to fix this, you're going to be more specific about who you help, what problem that you solve, what changes for them in the transformation, and then what to do next. Okay. So let's say, for example, that you are somebody who helps couples through relational challenges, right? So you're going to say, I help Black couples reduce conflict and have happier marriages. Easy, easy, easy. I mean, that right there is so clear. And when you're talking about what they can do next, you want to point them to very specific ways that they can work with you, very specific solutions. A lot of y'all are still saying, go to the link in my bio. Do not make people dig to have to pay you. Make it so specific. If this is the challenge for you right now, here is the solution. Here's the link. Comment this. Make it so specific and so easy for them, right? We're in a microwave world where people are expecting quick, fast. Give it to them. Let them pay you. Let them get the dose that they're looking for right now. All right. So if you are getting engagement on your posts, but there's no actual DMs or like replies specifically, it's usually a call to action leak. So that means that like your content is consumable. People like it, they save it, they share it, but it's not giving them enough direction. It's not directional. So in order to fix this, you want, again, to make it super specific and give them one clear next step. So reply X and I'll send you Z, right? If this hits, message me, fill in the blank. Or if you want support with this, here's exactly what to do next. All right. Make it so clear for them. This also, we teach people how to treat us. This is also training, for lack of better terms here, your audience on how to show up for you as well, right? And how to interact with you, and what your expectation of them is. If you're going to be here, we're going to be in conversation and we're going to connect. All right. Now, if you're currently getting DMs, this is great, right? But you might be getting a bunch of DMs that say, like, oh, I feel so moved, I feel so inspired, but you're not getting any calls booked. Most of my students are here in this phase, right? There's no calls being booked, no, people aren't taking the next steps. It's just like, I love your work and I love your content. Thank you so much. There is a conversion leak inside of your conversations, right? So you're talking with people, you're building the relationships, but you're not guiding them to a clear next step. So the fix to this is super simple. You just need to ask more specific, pointed questions and then offer the next step sooner. So they're not just like floating in the abyss of your orbit. So, do you want my feedback on this? Or do you want a plan? I'm happy to talk this through. What results are you looking to create in the next 60 days? Or do you want to take this deeper? I'm here. I can show you, a personal path. Get specific with your people and let them know that you're available to support them. It's not weird. It's not creepy. It's not pushy. This is how you serve your people from a deep place of integrity. Okay. Now, this is a really unique situation, but the last two pieces of this are if you're booking calls, right? So if people are DMing you and you're hopping on calls with folks, but you're not enrolling consistently, then it's usually a qualification leak where you're just, booking a bunch of calls and people are expecting something for free. Or there's an offer framing leak. So you don't have a clear framework where people can get on and say, okay, I understand what I'm getting here. I understand the transformation. And that's a common problem for a lot of y'all because as healers, the work is intangible and then you're doing it remotely. And it's like a double whammy. So if you can identify your offer framework and plug that up and speak to that, and that's the work that we do inside of fundamentals. So the fix for this is going to be tighten up who your offer is for. Get super clear, not on their demographics, but on their psychographics, how they think, how they buy, what their challenges are in their mind, what they're telling themselves. And if you can speak to that and say, I know what you're thinking when you're seeing this and you're reading this, and I know how you're talking yourself out of this. Okay? Leading with the specific outcomes that they can expect from working to you and what that transformation really looks like for them. And then handling those objections like a professional and not a people pleaser. So not to say that you need to push people, but really holding the space for when people maybe wiggle or wobble or doubt themselves more than anything. They're not doubting you. It's not a time to take it personally. They're saying, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard this on sales calls. Folks will say, I fully believe in this program and I fully believe in you and your work, but I'm not going to lie, I am really struggling to see how, like the belief in myself and the trust in myself that I can pull this off. And so how are you going to manage those objections? And if you guys want a lesson on that, we can definitely roll deeper in that. And we can touch on that as I have a full objection Bible that we go over in fundamentals. But the last challenge, if you will, for healers here in the last block is if you are actually enrolling people, but it's inconsistent, then right now you have a follow-up and expansion leak. Okay, so the fix for this is going to be that you find a consistent follow-up rhythm, that you get into the space where you can correct your renewals, your upgrades, your add-ons, and really creating a client journey where referrals come in just naturally, and using systems and technology behind the scenes to help you with that. So you don't have to chase those down, right? You have a very clear client journey. You say, okay, when I offboard this person, we do, a client spotlight, we record the client spotlight, that gets transcribed, that then gets turned into a testimonial. There's all these other pieces and systems that really will make it so easy for you. So all that, it just comes naturally. And all of it, also, the beautiful thing is more content for you. Okay. So if you heard yourself in one of those, good, because that's clarity. And now let's turn that clarity into a plan. So this 14-day plan is going to really help you keep it simple, keep it honest, and keep things moving, right? So your first step is to build one anchor. You're going to create one longer teaching moment. This can be a live training, a podcast, a YouTube, a workshop, some real lesson that you can cut up. The second step is to cut that into a few pieces of content. You can start with just one, right? Make it a reel and make sure that it has one point that you really drive home and one next step. And then the third step is to create conversations daily. So pick a number of conversations that you can sustain, right? Whether it's 3 conversations a day, 5 conversations a day, 10 conversations a day. In my business, it's 20 conversations a day. I know those numbers because I know what I need to sustain the business and the goals that I set for myself, right? And yes, this includes replying to people, following up, starting fresh with leads. But after you do this, you want to make one clean invitation per day. Not pressuring folks, not cold pitching everyone, but just one clean, aligned invitation based on context. Because you're saying, I've heard you, I love connecting with you, and it would be an honor to serve you and support you further and deeper. Are you open to what that looks like? And then after you do this, I want you to track the numbers that matter. Not the vanity metrics, not the vibes, but really tracking how much content you posted, the conversations you started, how many people did you offer a next step, how many calls did you book, how many people did you enroll, and you'll be able to clearly see where your people are getting stuck and where you're getting stuck, or where maybe you're not showing up fully, and where you get to focus more energy and more attention. So in the next 2 weeks, if you do this, if you take these 5 steps, you are going to know exactly what to fix, because the numbers will tell you, just like angel numbers. Don't tell me that you believe in angel numbers, but you never look at the numbers in your business, because they will give you information. They're there to guide you, okay? So if you want my feedback on your numbers and you're in the boardroom, raise your hand, name where your leak is, look at your numbers. We'll talk about what the fix is, what your next step is. If you want to talk about your, DM conversations and where those are getting stuck, it's important that you remember that in this new year, it's going to be important that you really connect with your people. And a lot of y'all don't actually have a content problem, right? It's direction. It's giving attention to your community in a way that deepens genuine connections with your folks, so you can understand and you can hear where they're at and reflect that in that content. Okay? So if your next step is unclear, use this, because you don't need to convince your people, right? You just need to connect with them on a deeper level. And building that certainty is going to be so much easier when you connect with them. And you can say, I know where you're at because I've been listening. I've been paying attention, and I can anticipate what's going on with you, because I'm here, I'm the expert, I'm the authority, I got your back, okay? Here's the thing that I want you to take away from this lesson, if nothing else. In 2026, it's not going to be about more and being everywhere all the time. It's about having a content system that doesn't collapse when life is lifing. It's about having a flow for genuine conversation that doesn't rely on, reactive sales and luck. And it's about an invitation process that doesn't feel like you're convincing or chasing people, okay? Structure is going to create the freedom that you all crave. And the goal is a business that holds you. not the other way around. So if you want support implementing all of this with the templates and the scripts and accountability, that's what we do inside the boardroom, y'all. Grab all your resources, and either way, take this 14-day plan and move. Don't overthink it. Take one step and fucking go for it. I love you.